thank you to Aura for sponsoring this video. At 19, I embarked on a self-improvement journey, wanting to become more confident, wanting to start a side hustle, wanting to get a successful job. And although I did what I set out to do, looking back, it was a big blessing and a huge curse. I couldn't help but feel like every book I read was equal parts helpful as it was demotivating. With every improvement I made, there was always more that I could do. Any day that I felt lazy or just simply not up to it, I had this little voice in the back of my mind that was telling me about discipline is more important than motivation. Like I was never allowed a day off because of all the things that I knew I could be doing. And part of me was thinking that if I really was being honest with myself, self-improvement seems like one of those things that you're attracted to when you're wanting to run towards success. But honestly, how many of us are actually running away from our shame? We want to become successful so that we can one up all the people that bullied us. Or you want to get a successful job so that you can prove to your parents that they were wrong. Or you want to become really confident and attractive to prove to all the people who rejected you that they made a mistake. Sometimes I think about how many of us started this journey, not entirely to improve ourselves, but partly to escape ourselves. In this video, I'm unpacking how sometimes your secret weapon on the outside can almost be your downfall on the inside. And I'm going to share with you my theory on how self-acceptance is actually the ticket to improving yourself and finally feeling good about yourself. Hey, if you're new, welcome to the cozy corner of the internet. I'm your host, Christina, and I help people stop shrinking and start living. I'm a doctor, creator, and coach living and working in the UK, and I help introverts become more of themselves. I help introverts transform their confidence from a 5 out of 10 to a 9 out of 10. So if that sounds good, then please join the family. My self-improvement journey has been many years in the making. I don't know about you guys, but I got into atomic habits, discipline, productivity back in like COVID times. So it's a long time coming. And I vividly remember like the start of my YouTube channel was around about the start of this self-improvement journey. Like I started a blog initially. I don't really like to Google myself, but recently I did, and I was honestly shocked at what came up. Like, I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I do worry about how much data is out there and how much of like your personal information is out there on the internet. So I was honestly shocked when I did Google myself. And I don't normally, because you literally never know what could come up. If you've ever Googled yourself, you might be quite surprised how much personal information comes up. Your address, your name, your phone number. That's why I'm excited to tell you about my sponsor, Aura. You might already have a digital security tool, but Aura is on another level. You would be surprised how many companies sell your data for profit, to sell to data brokers who can build detailed profiles about you, to sell on to anyone, including scammers, spammers, and stalkers. Aura scours the internet for these data brokers selling your information and submits opt-out requests on your behalf. But they also do so much more to keep you safe online. You can get alert if your personal information is on the dark web. Yikes. You can get real-time fraud alerts for your credit and banking information. You have access to 24/7 monitoring to keep your identity secure. You also get a secure VPN, a password manager, antivirus, and so much more. Their US-based support is available round the clock in case anything happens. What stands out about Aura is that they scour the internet and easily let you see what's being exposed and sold and delete it for you. You can start your 2-week trial in the link in the description box below. You get to pick and choose exactly what can be public and what shouldn't be, and you can see what kind of data is being exposed and sold. And with that being said, let's get on to the video. When I started my self-improvement journey, I don't think I saw it this way, that I was using success to outrun shame. Like, I genuinely was reading Atomic Habits to try and like become more productive. Or I was reading Think and Grow Rich to try and like improve my money beliefs. I was reading these books, all these like confidence books, productivity books, genuinely to improve myself. But the motivation was to almost escape myself. I didn't want to be that awkward little 19-year-old. I didn't want to be that girl that had no friends. I didn't want to be a person that's always left out and is never really picked. Let me know in the comments below whether or not that rings true for you. I don't entirely even think it's a problem. Like, I almost think it's the most common experience with self-improvement. Like, of course you join, it's self-improvement, so you join to improve yourself. But I think oftentimes the people that feel like they need improvement are people that have been shamed in the past. They're the people that have been ignored or have been rejected, have been shamed, have been left out. These are going to be the people that have the most motivation to do something about themselves. Because when I look at myself now, you know, 5 years on from when I started, I'm interested in self-improvement, but I'm not like an addict anymore. The motivation that I had back then is just simply non-existent now. Partly because I feel like the things I was learning back then are just now part of my daily routine. Like all of Atomic Habits is like tips on like tracking things and having a calendar and like changing your identity. Like that is just who I am now. Back then it was like a lesson and I was learning it, but now it's just who I am. Like I don't feel like I need to motivate myself to do it anymore. A couple of weeks ago, I actually had a really heartbreaking conversation with one of you guys. You were almost like back where I was. Like I think around about 19, you were like just finishing high school, and you were like quite unhappy with how like no matter what you do, what you achieve, how far you progress, it never feels good enough. And I remember talking to you, like nodding my head so much. I was, you know, like when you're literally like this, like on a call or something, like I was just relating so much to what you said, because I was like, this was me a few years ago. I remember a few years ago, I was learning the skills of like intense discipline, intense hard work, but I never even learned the skill of like acceptance. Like I was so good at waking up early. Like I had that era of 5 a.m. I had that era of a new book every week. Like I've done it. I've got the t-shirt, I've got the souvenirs, I've been there. But then back then I never really learned how to just like, Christina, you're good enough. That was never the thing that I learned. And I remember on this call with you talking about how much you'd achieved at high school and how much more you have ahead of you. It almost gets to the point with self-improvement. And I saw this in you, like in this person, like because you never give yourself credit for how far you've come, you almost lose motivation to keep going. Because you already have awards behind you, amazing grades behind you, a promotion behind you, a side hustle behind you, like you've got stuff behind you. You've got a pretty decent portfolio of like, I've done this, this and this. But because you literally never learned how to give yourself credit, you're looking to the future of like, I could work even harder. I could get that job. I could start this side hustle. I could make this much money. But like, you're not even like excited to do it because you're not going to give yourself a reward when you get there. I remember on the call, I kind of had to be blunt and I was like, do you want to be happy or do you want to be optimized? People that get really obsessed with self-improvement have the double-edged sword of really removing their feelings from everything that they do. Like if you're someone that wakes up at 5 a.m., does your homework before your classes or works on your side hustle before you go to work, you have to absolutely remove like, I'm tired, I don't want to do it, I don't feel motivated. Like you have to remove that to get this done. And because you remove your feelings from everything, and you remove like the joy from everything, you remove the laziness from everything, all like the emotions are gone from everything, like celebration doesn't seem important. Like it almost seems like a waste of time. And what I find sometimes when I do talk to people that are like really into self-help, even thinking back to me before, is when you remove your feelings from everything, you almost dehumanize yourself. Like you almost see yourself as not entitled to feel tired. You're not entitled to feel like lazy, demotivated, tired. You're not entitled to celebrate things. Like you've dehumanized yourself in the process of trying to succeed. Do you want to keep dehumanizing yourself, brushing your feelings to the side to make more time for work, brushing celebrations to the side to make more room for your emails? So when you think about it, like each time you say, no, I'm not going to celebrate myself, you're like, no, I'm not going to feel good about myself. Instead, I'm going to work more and feel bad about myself, how much further I have to go. I think as a self-obsessed person, it's really helpful to understand the difference between being a maximizer and being a satisficer. Because self-improvement, I'm saying self-improvement addicts, but self-improvement people or people who have been on this journey for a long time and you're now having diminishing returns, you were improving a lot before, but now it's kind of like marginal improvements. You're very much in the maximizer camp and you'd benefit so much from learning a little bit from the satisficer camp. But I've got more on that in a little bit. I had a turning point when I decided that I'm no longer kind of going to like optimize my life and optimize everything. I actually am going to choose a little bit more of myself. I'm going to choose to not grind all weekend. I'm going to choose to maybe just watch a movie this weekend. I'm going to choose to be happy rather than be optimized. I'm not going to spend all weekend working on a YouTube video to try and get it out this weekend. Maybe I'll skip an upload this week. Maybe I'll be happy instead of optimized. And this is tough. I've only recently taken like a YouTube break a couple of weeks ago because running on a hamster wheel month after month, year after year, it's very hard to slow down. Like you almost build up a bit of stamina. So to slow down feels a bit strange because you're getting really good at running. You don't know how to start walking. However, something I've had to learn the hard way is that the quality of your life doesn't actually have a lot to do with like what's in your life, the awards, the achievement, even a lot of times the money after a certain point, after a certain income, I guess. It has a lot to do with how you feel about yourself. Like you could tick off absolutely every single thing on your vision board, but still feel crap because your mind is like, I have so much further to go rather than I've come so far. And I know that's cringe. I know everyone hates that thing. Like, look how far you've come. Like, I know that was me a couple months ago. Like, I also found that a bit cringe. But something that I've had to really like instill in my mind is like, Christina, it does not matter what you achieve. Like, if you still feel like behind, if you still feel like this isn't good enough, that is actually how you're going to feel. However, if you literally can't celebrate yourself because you want to get more work done, if you literally can't take a weekend off because you feel like you're going to fall behind, if you can't treat yourself to a new pair of shoes or a new dress because you've had your eye on it for ages because you want to save your money, you don't want to spend anything, you are not going to feel good about yourself. And ultimately, wasn't that the whole point? Didn't we start this to outrun our shame and to finally feel good about ourselves? Yet here we are, all the achievements, or working towards, maybe you're working towards things, you're getting there, you're improving, like you're working towards all these improvements, but you still don't feel good about yourself. This is where the idea of a maximizer comes in. So like I was saying, there's these two personality types, I want to say. They're a popular differentiator used in psychology. Maximizers are people that want to maximize the amount of research they do. They're buying a new phone. They want to research the price, research the discount codes, research the battery life. They want to research. There's almost no limit to how they could research. Whereas satisfies, they only have a couple important things that they're looking for. They want a phone under $1,000. They want a phone that has a battery life that lasts, a full day, a good full day out of their battery. Touchscreen, has maybe an iPhone, has AirDrop, has iMessage, Apple Pay. But that's about it. They're not going to go crazy looking for all the discount codes, looking for the best price, looking for the newest one, looking for the latest one, the latest model, iOS 27.2. Like, they're not looking for that. Once their criteria is met, they stop searching. They stop maximizing. Maximizers thrive, but also struggle with the amount of choices that they get. Maximizers have choice saturation. When they have endless options, it's no longer liberating, it's more paralyzing. Like, you literally don't know where to go from there. Maximizers are people that want to maximize as much potential from any situation. They want to get the best possible phone for the best possible discount. They want to start their blog in the best possible way, in the best possible post. Versus a satisfies very much just wants to get a good phone, and that's enough. Or they want to start a blog, and that's enough. You can almost think of a maximizer somewhat as a perfectionist. Like, they want things to be perfect, really, really good, incredibly high standards. The problem with some maximizers is that they probably use a lot of their philosophy towards objects, situations, and choices. They actually use this philosophy towards themselves. They want to maximize themselves. They want to improve themselves. They have choice saturation towards themselves. Rather than reading a book and implementing a couple of the different strategies and tools and feeling good about implementing them, they instead feel quite bad about the fact that they could be doing more, or they could be doing it faster, or they could have implemented it sooner. The interesting thing that psychology research shows is that oftentimes when you look at maximizers, you look at satisfies are often a lot happier. You could give both a maximizer and a satisfier with the same background, same family upbringing, same school experience. You'd give them a similar outcome. 9 times out of 10, the satisfier would probably be more happy, because in general, psychology research shows that maximizers tend to be unhappier with their outcomes compared to satisfiers. I've noticed for me over the last few months, I've definitely done a lot of work unintentionally to move away from being a maximizer and towards a satisfier. I mainly did it from like working to overcome perfectionism. I find oftentimes when you're trying to strive for this 100% standard, 110% standard, where things need to be literally perfect or otherwise nothing else is good enough, you almost don't get a lot done. Because when you want to start something and you have it in the back of your mind that it needs to be perfect, you start doing it. It's taking you a long time. You're nowhere near perfect yet. It's just demotivating that you can't get the outcome you want, so you just quit. And then you maybe start again, but then you don't get the outcome you want, so you quit. Like, I feel like perfectionists don't get a lot done. Or maybe maximizers don't get a lot done. Who knows? I find a huge thing that helped me was just lowering the standard to post or lowering the standard to complete something. Like, rather than telling myself this needs to be 100%, I've had to tell myself sometimes, Christina, just make it 70% good enough and then post it. 70% good enough is good enough. Like, that's a solid mark, even if you think about it. Like, if that was a grade or if that was like your performance at work, 70% is solid. One of the biggest things that I've struggled with when it has been like, when I think about me being a maximizer and like a self-improvement obsessed person in the past, has honestly been my relationship with like taking breaks. Like, I struggle back in the day, maybe even a little bit now, I'll be honest. Like, I struggle a lot to take breaks because I'm always like, oh, but I could be working, I could be doing more. And it's definitely like the maximizer part of my brain, like trying to tell me to maximize my time. However, I can't remember where I saw this. Maybe it was Pinterest, maybe it was Instagram, but I saw a post that said, not taking breaks is not a sign of strength, it's a sign of future weakness. And that made so much sense, because I remember at the time I think I watched the F1 movie, which is really good, by the way. Definitely go and watch it. By the time this comes out, I think it might not even be in the cinemas anymore. But anyway, in F1, they literally change the tires every few laps. It really depends on the driver, but they change the tires every few laps because the tires wear out so quickly that like if you're still running on an old set of tires, like you are at risk. Like you have increased chance of like slipping. Things can go wrong if you don't change the tires. So it's almost like a break in F1 is essential. Like you cannot just keep going. You do have to run the risk of like being behind for a few seconds because you have to stop, get the tires changed. You have to do it as quickly as possible. Then you're back on the race. That break is not optional. Like you have to have a break, because if you don't have a break, there's a risk of a future injury, a future issue, a future mistake. Like you need the breaks. And so then when I saw the movie, I saw that quote, I kind of thought about it for myself and I was like, oh my gosh, not taking breaks isn't a sign of strength. It's a sign of a future weakness, because something could go wrong. I could get burnt out. I could like hit a wall. I could crash. Like you never know. And a lot of the time, like our motivators for this, say you're also a workaholic, or maybe even you're a perfectionist. Like you have these huge urges, like to keep working or to do things perfectly. And like you have these urges, but you don't know where they come from. I was talking about this in the problem with wellness video. Essentially, this is a video all about external validation. The video kind of touches on wellness, but it's talking about your motivation to be seen a certain way, come across a certain way, go to Pilates, come across as fit and healthy and like look externally validated. In the video, I was talking about my workbook, the Validation Detox, essentially a guide to help you understand exactly where you are seeking external validation. Because if you don't know what it is, it's almost like an invisible puppet that's controlling you. You don't even know what the puppet looks like. When I did the validation detox, a big one for me was work and achievement. Like when I was circling the different things on the validation inventory, personal life, relationships, even friends, that was all way lower down. But for me, work and achievement was a lot higher up the spectrum. So that's how I know anything with work and achievement, that's going to be the area where I sacrifice more, become burnt out more. For you, if you download the workbook, I'll leave it in the description box below. It's completely for free. If you do the workbook and actually your validation spectrum is higher on the friendship, love, relationship side, that's how you know that's where you're going to sacrifice more. That's where you're going to get burnt out more, exhausted more, fed up more. And I think it's helpful to know exactly what your validation, almost Achilles is, because this is the area where you seek external validation the most. But again, more on that in this video, and you can download that workbook in the top of the description bar below. I don't know if any of you guys have tried meditation, what your thoughts are. I know it's like people roll their eyes when you say meditation because they're like, oh, I can't focus, I have ADHD, I can't not let my thoughts pop up, there's always something on my mind. I've been doing meditation on and off, I'd say years now, but I find when I am more consistent with it, oh my gosh, I do notice a difference. Like I really, really do. There's not many things that I can say, this changed my life, but when I think about the long-term impact of meditation and I really zoom out on my early 20s, meditation has changed my life for sure. Meditation is just a form of stillness, and I actually think the thing that I want to close on is actually stillness as a whole. Maybe when you think about your self-improvement journey, how far you've come and how far you still have yet to go. Maybe you clicked on this video because you do still have some negative feelings, like you still feel like you're not good enough yet, or you still feel behind. You still feel somewhat burnt out. You still feel somewhat like you haven't completed the loop, like things are still incomplete somehow. I really do believe an element of that, from my experience, is because the reason why we start self-improvement is to maybe outrun the shame that we've had before. And a lot of the time, the shame that we're trying to outrun still lingers with us, even when we've achieved things, even when we've made progress, because we haven't given ourselves permission to simply exist, to simply feel feelings. We've dehumanized ourselves in the process of trying to get towards success. We almost place success as more important than ourselves. And I feel like stillness, meditation, maybe even yoga or tapping, like choose your weapon, choose whatever you choose. Regular stillness or meditation almost teaches you to reconnect with the human part of yourself. Like 10 minutes of you just sitting and listening to a little YouTube audio has value. 10 minutes of you working through your emails, grinding and putting a PowerPoint together isn't more valuable than you just existing and meditating. Or 10 minutes of you scrolling on your phone and just having a quick break while you're sat on the toilet is not less valuable than you, again, grinding and doing some work and like making money from your side hustle, making money from work. 10 minutes of you is 10 minutes of you. We've almost confused the value with the work rather than the value being in us. Because even when you think about all the achievements that you crave and that you want, ultimately the achievement is special because a person has it. Like take my plaque, for example, this 100k plaque. The plaque by itself, cool, that's nice, that's fun. It's special because, oh, you know, my favorite YouTuber at the time had one and I wanted to be like her, so it was special. Or it's special now. I try and remind myself of how big of a deal this is. Like, even though it's normal to me now and I'm used to it, like I try and remind myself how special it is. It's special because I am a person that has it. Or it was special because I saw a person that I liked that had it. When you think about your dream car, the car itself, cool, special, fantastic. It's special because of the person you become when you have it, or the sort of person that can achieve it. All these things that you chase after that seem magical and special are only special because of people. And yet sometimes in your journey, you as a person devalue yourself and you make the object and the achievement more special than you, or more special than you as a human being. I know what it's like to be on your journey of like working towards a certain version of yourself and thinking that like, oh, I'm behind. But honestly now, as someone who has achieved a few things, like my life goals of becoming a doctor, hitting 100k, looking back at so many points in my journey, I was actually a lot luckier than I thought. Like even when I started my channel and I was like 200 subscribers, honestly looking back as a YouTuber now, looking back to me at 200, that was not like a bad time. That was not me, I was behind time. Like as a smaller channel, I was saying this to some of the girls in my membership community, Cozy Corner Membership Club. I was saying to some of them, like, as a small channel, you have such an advantage. Like, you have so much freedom to post whatever you want. You don't have eyes on you just yet. You don't have haters just yet. You don't have trolls just yet. You can literally post whatever you want. If I wanted to make a cooking video next week, it just wouldn't make any sense. Like, if you have 200 subscribers, you can do it though. Like you have freedom. I think about my early days of medical school and I was like, oh, I just want to graduate. I want to be out of here. I had no responsibilities. If I was tired on a night shift and I made a mistake, no one's life was at risk. I was just a student. Now that I have graduated, I've got the job. It's like there are responsibilities that come with me showing up at work, me being tired at work, me making a mistake at work. Like at every single point in my journey, as much as I was trying to run away, like there were so many things that I could have been grateful for or could have appreciated. Like I promise you, you might be in like the Goldilocks zone of your life and not even realize it. Like you might be a lot luckier than you think. This is something that I talk about in my How the Goldilocks Theory Changed My Life video. I'll link that up here. It talks about all about the Goldilocks Theory, how you're doing a lot better than you think. Like in the words of Christiana, you're doing amazing, sweetie. Like I wish you knew just how like good you're doing. You'll only know that once you get further along in your journey. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you made it to the end of this video. Cherry gang, are you still here? Comment down below a cherry if you made it this far into the video. Let me know what you think. It's my favorite part of filming these videos and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.